Hello, it's Ronnie Yoga Devi coming to you from my home in Leamington, Ontario. And we had a little bit of a sad situation happen this week. Not here in Leamington, but in Lakeshore, where my boyfriend lives. So we've been watching this family of bunnies for a long time. First, they were living in a line of evergreen trees between my boyfriend's house and his neighbor's house. And he would just like hop across the lawn, or she, I'm not sure, would just hop across the lawn, and we thought that was really cute. We'd try and see him when we could. And then we found out it was not a he, perhaps, but a she. And then we found a little hole in the backyard, and there were a bunch of baby bunnies in there. And apparently the bunny family was now right in the middle of the backyard, so we couldn't mow the lawn for quite a while until the bunnies got big enough that they could join the parents underneath of the evergreens. So I guess they have some sort of a home between the evergreens, and that's where they hang out some of the time. But they also go into the farmer's field behind, and then out in front they also go out into the ditch, and because the ditch is quite a lot of things live in the ditch, like turtles and pollywogs and frogs and you name it, all kinds of little things live in the ditch. So we found, I didn't find it. My boyfriend found it. I wasn't around and I didn't see it, thank goodness. One of the bunnies, a baby bunny from this year's bunny babies, so that would be a grand bunny or grand bunny, was split in half by a bird of prey. We don't know what kind of a bird of prey, but we know it was a bird. We have hawks and other types of birds of prey in the area. And there was one day that I was actually sitting indoors watching through the sliding glass door. I had a little bunny sitting in the back underneath of the tree in the backyard. It's a pretty flowering tree in the backyard. Hopping around, just having a good old time. And all of a sudden, the hawk went swooshed down and tried to catch him. But he didn't get very close because Bunny went and jumped practically right up into the tree. And fortunately, he or she escaped on that day. And the bunny this week was not so lucky. The bird of prey split it in half, ate a little bit of it, and then left it in the garden. Anyhow, we have this one particular plant that I didn't know the bunny had been living underneath of. And they'd got a burrow right underneath of a plant of mine. And I can't even remember right now what type of plant it is. I can visualize it, but I get more visualizing the hole that my boyfriend showed me that they were living under there. I didn't even realize I had seen the bunny sitting on top of that plant many times. And like through the winter, even in the winter, that bunny was sitting on top of this hole, and I didn't realize why it was sitting there. It didn't make any sense to me because I didn't ever see the bunny sitting on top of the big bunny sitting on top of the other hole ever. The bunny was not very far away, The bunny mom was not very far away, but it didn't sit on top of that hole. It felt that the bunnies were safe in that hole. Or it was big enough that Mummy Bunny could actually get into that hole. The opening was only this big. There were like three little bunny faces staring out at us. It was the cutest little thing. It was so cute. Anyhow, suffice it to say that it was really cute. It was really a nice experience to see these little bunnies in the hole and then watch them, jump around in the backyard for a little while and then get big enough that they realized that they had to learn to protect themselves. And then the older bunnies would teach them how to hunt and how to do what bunnies need to do to survive, including stay clear of the hawks. So they're often under trees to protect themselves. So we don't see them all that much. Once in a while, you'll see them hopping across the lawn, hopping across, going into the farmer's field, that sort of thing, and maybe in and around the ditch when they're looking for different things. But this one little bunny met with its demise, and it was probably a grandbaby of the first bunny that we saw a couple years ago. But that's nature. Unfortunately, that's nature. Things are born, things have to struggle to survive, and sometimes they don't make it. And that goes for people as well. But the difference is that people have these comfy little places to live called apartments and houses, and we're indoors and we're not subjected to the weather except for when we go out to go to work or to an appointment or for a social event. And when we come home, we've got our nice little comfy space to be in. And that's really important when you live in a cold country like Canada, where we only have 2 months of really nice weather where you can go out without a big jacket and a scarf on. There's maybe a couple months where it's in between, where it's spring-like weather and then fall a little bit in September. But generally in Canada we have July and August that are really summer. June can be nice a little bit here and there, but it's not reliably nice all the time. But can you imagine being a little bunny, any sort of wild animal, in a place where the territory that you need to live in is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, just for deers as well, for hawks as well, for turkey vultures as well. These animals and birds that have a function are as important as we are. It's just that we just don't get it. We just don't get it. We try to understand nature, but we don't live in it. We think we understand human nature, but even that, we really have a very limited grasp of. So, all this to say, if there's nature around you, please take the time to enjoy it. Whether it's butterflies or the beautiful fireflies. I don't know the technical name for them, but fireflies, if you've never seen them, they're the most amazing thing. They just pop, 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 pop. Little flashes of light through the grass. And they're gorgeous. It's just gorgeous to see them. And it's a very short period of time that they're around. I think it's like 2 weeks or something like that, and we just had fireflies. It's just so cool. They start to show up at dusk, and when it's really, really dark out, that's when it's really neat. Just little tiny flashes of bright light and fireflies. They're really cool. But I just think it's so important to really, really observe nature to the extent that you can. And if you have a national park near you, or even a provincial park, get out there. Get out there. Go for a walk in nature. It's so important. And there's just so many people that don't have access to a national park or a provincial park. In my city, in Toronto, we had a huge park. It wasn't a national park or anything, but it was a huge park that we went walking in an awful lot. It was a wonderful, wonderful park. And here in Leamington, we've got Point Pelee National Park. Close by, there is, I believe, a provincial park in Wheatley. And there's loads of parks that we can go to. There's big parks in Windsor, not national parks, but big park with lots of beautiful trees and stuff in it. I encourage you to get out there, go to parks, get out there, walk in nature, enjoy it, especially this time of year, because in Canada, unless you live in Vancouver where it's warmer than it is in the rest of Canada, it's a very seasonal, very short season that we have to be able to go out into nature and be able to do it comfortably without a big coat and scarf and hood and hat and gloves, all of that, boots and all that. So enjoy nature, appreciate nature, and appreciate especially the live things around you that you see, whether it's a turtle, a little bird in a bird's nest, a little bunny, flowers, what have you. Take the time to experience nature because it truly is important. And that's really all I have to say for today. Appreciate nature. Really appreciate nature. That's what we're here for. To appreciate nature and to appreciate each other. Rani Yoga Devi signing off. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye for now.